Hi, I'm Jackie Lee. I'm Director of the Practitioner Doctorate Programme at the University of Surrey. I want to talk to you a bit today about the programme, why it's a success and why we spend so much time working on this. For businesses, it's an opportunity for them to engage with an urgent or perhaps new idea around sustainability, perhaps something they haven't had an opportunity to get to in the past. And they can do that with academic colleagues, which provides new insights and new background. For students, there's the opportunity to have a go, work with industry in a new and exciting area, to understand and to really get to grips with the important issues of a really serious problem that we have at the current time. It's a success because it's collaborative. We don't tell people what to do, we work with people, identifying the issues, sorting out what the solutions might be and coming together to find the best way to work with them. And then of course we bring the right people into the programme. The right people, the right skills means that we end up the best opportunity for actually resolving those concerns. We try to build solid relationships with our collaborators over a number of years. That means we get to build trust, we get to build those relationships which leads to later and better and more collaborations later on. So who are our collaborators? Well, we work with big global industries, Rolls-Royce, Unilever, Sony, companies like that, right down to small companies, SMEs, people like Z Factory who design the zero carbon homes, or Forest Research who work with forest and reclamation of contaminated land. We also work with government and to local authorities. So we work with any organisation that's interested to trying to make a positive change and those who want to leave a lasting legacy and a better and more sustainable future. Of course, it's not just about the research programme, it's about what happens to the people when we finish, our alumni, what happens when they go out. Well, what have they got? They've got 4 years of experience working with a company to develop academically rigorous research and also to make practical solutions to those real issues. They get into positions of influence, they can take their learnings and then they can make a difference in the jobs that they do. They have an unparalleled on-the-job training, plus an intensive training programme at the university that brings bespoke technical, transferable skills, all of which are vital to making a change maker in a sustainability development. At the end of it, they also have a ready-made network of contemporaries, all with a shared history, all able to exchange, discuss and develop and make those new radical ideas that are absolutely critical for making that new sustainable future we all hope for.
Okay, we've had a lot of experience of running engineering doctorates over about 25 years in CES. Always worked with industry, always worked on projects which had mutual advantage between the needs of industry and producing some academic merit. And in the meantime produced a huge number of graduates over that time who've gone out and practiced in industry doing some great things. I think at the heart of it is driven by an industrial problem. That may be a problem which industry knows that it has. It may be a problem that we help industry to realise is on the horizon. But certainly we start with that need that industry says we want something solving. This is not an academic based programme. We take that problem and then work with the industry to develop it and to change it and to modify it. So very often we end up over the 3 to 4 years that we spend working with the industrial partner, we end up with a project that's quite different to the one we started with, and that's really important because it then does respond to a real need, not a perceived need before a student's recruited. I think one of the things that we've done over the years is made a big difference to the way industry practices. A relatively recent example is that of working with Sony Interactive Entertainment, the part of Sony that makes the PlayStation gaming console. And they worked with other industry leaders to look at the European Union legislation that was coming up, and the EU said these are using a lot of energy, we need to regulate and to control that energy use. And we worked with Sony over 4 years to develop an evidence base which said to the European Union that you can legislate differently in order to control the energy uptake of this industry. And what happened as a result of that evidence base, and of course the lobbying of Sony and Microsoft and other lobbyists, was the EU brought in a voluntary agreement rather than the more draconian and expected legislation. So that's a good example of how we work with a company, produced independent academic-based evidence in order to support something which really changed the way industry worked.
I'm Erica Russell and I'm a doctoral practitioner here at CES. I first came to CES in 2006 to do a Master's in Sustainable Development, I was really interested in the topic area, but at the time I was a working mum, I had a very little boy of 4, and it was extremely hard work. I came here during my holidays and I was exhausted by it, but incredibly stimulated. I found the teaching here and I found the information I was learning really grabbed my attention, and I really enjoyed doing it. So madly, I decided, having done my Masters, that I would come back about 5 years later and do a PhD. I was really interested to understand how research worked in terms of an academic level of research. So here I am doing my PhD, and I've been enormously impressed by the amount of support that I get from the supervisory team here. Not just from the academic supervisors, but also something that was very important to me was to actually be able to work within industry, continue working within industry as well. And my academic and industrial supervisors have both been great. I see them regularly, and this is very helpful when you're actually trying to do the research work and beginning to understand what it is you're actually looking at. My research is in the construction sector, but most of all it's around sustainable supply chains and how those can develop and improve sustainability through many different aspects of the business and sector. So what have I learned? Well, what it's given me is a much better understanding of the theoretical basis of a lot of the work that's being done. But it's also been really stimulating to work on real-world problems. So here I am actually embedded within a business. Carillion are actually sponsoring me to do this work. And so the problems that I'm looking at actually do have a benefit at the end of that. And I've been able to see that in the 2.5 years that I've been working on this and feeding my research back into the business. When I leave, I think what I will be able to take away is that understanding of a more lateral way of thinking, of being able to approach problems in a different way. And I'm hoping that that would be something that I can take into my future career, whatever that is, whatever industry that turns out to be. And I think incredibly important to be able to understand how to bridge that gap between industry and academia, because so often, so much of the research that's done in academia never actually gets into industry, and I think that really matters.
I am Mauro Lafratta, and I'm a doctoral practitioner at the University of Surrey Centre for Environmental and Sustainability, delivering a research project for the Innovation Department of Thames Water. After my master graduation and working as a researcher at international levels and as a consultant, I wanted to continue my academic experience at highest levels, but also aiming to have an impact in the real world and gaining the industrial experience. That's why I chose the PDS program. I started 1 year ago, and I must say this has been one of the most extraordinary years of my life. 3 initial months of training about sustainability and circular economy, crucial topics for any research project with a vision in the future, and for my personal development have been intense but very formative. Now I'm supervised by a great team of supervisors that ensure my academic and my personal growth, and working in the innovation department in Thames Water pushed me in doing my best. I really feel it's a leading research environment where it's possible to make an impact. I'm sure working hard will give me future opportunity I would not have otherwise. The PDS program is a unique opportunity to build myself and shape my skills in a career in sustainability that I could only found at CS.